Quit believing everyone saying Central Asia auto export is full of easy cash. This market is insanely oversaturated. Now, a fully electric SUV once brought us $3,000, $4,000 profit per unit. Now rivals/margins to just $50 to grab orders. Worse still, local policies shift out of nowhere. If tariffs spike mid-shipping, your cars instantly turn into money losers. You see dealers posting photos of loaded trucks online. The ones staying quiet are stuck with unsold vehicles rotting in Central Asian bonded warehouses. Can't sell, can't ship back. I've been in vehicle export for 9 years. I watched Central Asia grow from a niche route to a hyped gold rush. Years ago, fewer than 100 firms shipped cars here. Gasoline cars easily netted 10k Fe 20k RMB each. EVs even more. Ports like Horgos were swamped with trucks. Freight rates jumped 3 times a week, yet everyone rushed to send stock. Within 2 years, everything collapsed. Used car dealers, 4S stores, construction exporters, even financial brokers flooded into this trade. Stats show local exporters ballooned from under 100 to over 2,000. Hundreds of resellers and individual middlemen joined in. Too many sellers chasing limited demand. Price wars broke out. Profit margins crashed from 15% down to 3%, 4%. Some sellers accept $50 profit just to lock clients, hoping later spare parts and repairs can make up losses. Most people blame oversupply for the brutal competition. That's only half the truth. Here's the counterintuitive reality. It's not insufficient market demand. Everyone crowded into a zero-barrier arbitrage loop, chasing quick policy profits which dried up fast. Let's break down those old windfalls. It wasn't just Central Asian consumers craving Chinese cars. Back then, traders profited from EAU tariff gaps. Russia charged steep import and recycling taxes, while Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and other EAU members allowed duty-free internal transfers. Traders shipped cars to low-tariff Central Asian states first, then moved them tax-free into Russia to slash costs. 7 out of 10 cars passing Horgos were bound for Russia, not local retail. The so-called Big Central Asia market was just a transit hub for Russia. This side business required zero local market knowledge, after-sales support, or end-user connections. Just car sources and freight brokers. Naturally, crowds swarmed in. As competition exploded, tariff gaps vanished. Regulators closed loopholes. Russia lifted car import tariffs from 15 to 25%, hiked recycling fees, and forced all transit vehicles via Central Asia to pay full tax differences. Transit arbitrage died overnight. Shipping through Central Asia now costs more than direct Russia shipments. All transit traders scrambled to fight over tiny local retail sales. But total annual car sales across 5 Central Asian nations only hit hundreds of thousands. Kazakhstan tops the list with 200k units yearly. Thousands of new sellers flooded in, triggering cutthroat competition. On top of that, every Central Asian country tightened import rules, wiping out old perks. Kazakhstan imposed 16% VAT on EV imports, starting the 1st of January, lifting overall costs by over 10%. Full official EC certification is mandatory for customs clearance, killing gray imports. Uzbekistan enforces Euro 5 standards for gasoline cars from the 1st of August. Non-compliant vehicles get blocked. Tajikistan rolled out EAU vehicle safety rules in September. Turkmenistan caps single-brand annual imports at 5,000 units. Loose bulk shipment strategies no longer work. Funny enough, while small dealers struggle, major Chinese automakers expand aggressively here. Chery built a KD assembly plant in Kazakhstan, boosting annual capacity to 100,000 units with 60% local parts sourcing. Local manufacturing avoids heavy finished car tariffs and qualifies for government subsidies, giving them better retail pricing. BYD set up a 50,000-unit joint EV factory in Uzbekistan. Shangan runs stable KD production there. Instead of cheap dumping, they build channels, brands, and after-sales networks for long-term gains. Even VW Jetta launched local assembly plans. Small traders only earn thin transport fees, easily replicated by anyone. Big brands profit from industrial barriers no random reseller can copy. That explains why some sink huge losses while others expand steadily. Let me share a real story of 2 Guangzhou traders. They invested over 1 million RMB exporting premium used EVs to Kyrgyzstan for resale to Russia. Early small shipments earned solid returns, so they poured more cash into 5 nearly new cars. But policy shifts hit mid-transit at Horgos. Kyrgyzstan updated used car certification rules, rejecting old paperwork. Russian transit channels shut down. Cars were stuck at the border with daily storage piling up. Return shipping meant extra freight and customs fees. Plus, used cars lose resale value after return. After 2 months of losses, they offloaded vehicles at Rock. I've heard dozens of identical horror stories this year. New entrants chase quick money without learning basic trade rules, then lose everything. All failed traders fall into 3 identical traps. First, they confuse temporary policy windfalls with personal ability. They made money only thanks to loose regulations and supply shortages, with no sustainable competitive edge. No stable buyers. No compliant processes. Poor cost budgeting. Once subsidies vanish, they collapse. Many rely on underdeclared value and unlicensed customs brokers to cut tax costs. Customs crackdowns now lead to seized cars, heavy fines, and total loss of past profits. Third, they ignore hidden risks in budgeting. Most sellers only calculate purchase, freight, and basic tax, ignoring sudden tariff hikes, certification updates, port detention fees, transit damage, and buyer order cancellations. One single crisis wipes out profits from 10 shipments. Here's my simple risk control playbook for Central Asia vehicle exports. First is the profit buffer rule. Reserve 15% of cargo value as risk buffer for gasoline cars, 10% for EVs decline orders below this margin tax, and certification shifts usually add 10–15% extra costs. This buffer prevents principal loss during policy changes. Second, stick to strict buyer screening. Ignore customers who slash prices blindly. They're either price-chasing brokers or competitors, spying for quotes with zero loyalty. Reliable local dealers ask about EAC certification, Colorado, spare parts supply and warranty, and these partners are worth long-term cooperation. Require minimum 30% deposit for all clients, new or old, and add a policy adjustment clause to renegotiate costs if import tax or certification rules change. This single clause avoids most policy losses. Third, triple-check clearance documents pre-shipment. The COC must show VIN engine code and specs matching physical cars perfectly. Certificate of origin helps secure preferential tariff rates. Destination EAUEC certification is the mandatory clearance pass. Don't trust freight brokers blindly. Verify every document yourself, as most customs detentions stem from tiny paperwork errors. If you're a cash-strapped beginner with limited channels, do these 3 zero-cost tasks before committing to Central Asia. First, compile half-year import policy summaries for all 5 Central Asian states, including gasoline and EV tariffs, used car age limits, certification rules, and effective dates. Official customs websites and trade platforms hold all relevant data, and 2 to 3 hours of research will stop you from misquoting banned vehicle models. Second, contact 3 fully legal white clearance freight forwarders, and steer clear of brokers promising all-in tax. Free clearance with full compensation. Trustworthy agents provide official tax receipts, real-time cargo tracking, and itemized cost breakdowns covering freight, customs, and insurance, and comparing quotes will keep you from being overcharged. Third, revise all sales contracts immediately by adding deposit rules and policy adjustment clauses up front. Clear risk terms filter untrustworthy buyers and prevent messy disputes later. Central Asia isn't dead, it just ended the reckless easy profit era. Those complaining the market's over are old arbitrage traders who can't survive without policy loopholes. Smart exporters shifted to niche segments like engineering trucks, light pickups, climate, adapted vehicle refitting, spare parts wholesale, or regional supply chain services. These lines earn steady protected margins without brutal price wars. Auto export is never a get-rich, quick scheme, it's steady physical trade. You need product knowledge, policy mastery, client screening, and strict risk management. Don't rush into hot markets blindly, nor flee when trends cool. Markets stay consistent. Only profit logic evolves. Those who adapt thrive. Blind speculators get eliminated eventually. That's all for today. We specialize in full vehicle export, breaking down real trade rules to help you avoid costly pitfalls. Wish every fellow exporter endless orders.